All right, guys. Anybody got questions out there? I know there's just one person actually logged on. How you doing, Bibiana? Yeah, I mean, I'm so happy the barbershop's open tomorrow. My hair is like long. Yeah, my last day is going to be next Thursday. I'm doing this since school is wrapping up. Have fun at duty. I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. Not what I want. That's what I was doing. Anybody got a question? Was hmm, need it. I don't think anybody's gonna ask me questions. Nobody who has math questions. Anybody got questions? Oh, yeah, that worked. Anybody got any questions? Come on, guys. Somebody out there's got to have questions. If not, I'm going to call the stream early. Sit here and talk to myself. Solve my Rubik's Cube. It really does show from what I heard from the school, what I've been reading online. Do. I'm only giving it till 15 and then I'm calling it quits. Nobody's got questions. I think pretty much as everybody's given up on the school year. Even though it's not over. Man, I hope they don't think that they're just going to automatically pass. One person in here. No idea. Nobody's got questions about math. I'm searching for Korok seeds. I've already done that for 7 hours today. Probably going to do it for another 3 or 4 before I call it quits. There's like 900 of them in the game. Only have 100 and something right now. Just talking to myself. Great times. Great time. Six minutes, that's my rule. Oh my god, quit. Oh, I went the wrong way. This is normally when my wife would say, just do something. But, nah. Oh. No, this is my normal Rubik's Cube. 2 people on here now. Any questions? If not, I'm logging off in 3 minutes. Be like, y'all, go play a video game. Something somewhat entertaining. Alright, so I'm just going to pick one I haven't done yet already. If you need some, so I've already worked for this week. I've worked number 1, 4, 7, and 9 on this week. If you go look in the descriptions on the previous live streams, they have the timestamps on there. So I'm going to work number 2. So after this, you have the video that I worked plus 1, 2, 3, 4 others plus this explanation. And they're all going to be the same explanation because I solved these all the same way. Okay, so number 2, we have the equation y equals -1/2 x plus 2, point P is 4, 1. All right, here what I'm asking you to do is find the line that's parallel and perpendicular to this line that's going through this point. Now, what you have to understand, people outside are honking. What you have to understand is the relationship of slope between parallel lines and perpendicular lines. Parallel lines, their slopes are exactly the same. Doesn't change. Perpendicular lines, we have to take the slope, we have to take the reciprocal, meaning we have to flip the fraction upside down, and we need to change the sign. If it's positive, it becomes negative. If it's negative, it becomes a positive. It's called a negative reciprocal. In this form, you have to be able to identify your slope. Well, we're going to use the equation y equals mx plus b. You learn in Algebra 1 that m is your slope. This is slope-intercept form. So my m is right here in this equation, meaning my slope that I'm going to be using is -1/2. It's going to be like this on every one of those problems. I wrote everything exactly the same way. All right. So now my parallel slopes. For a line to be parallel, they must have exactly the same slope. So my parallel slope is exactly the same as the slope here, which is a negative 1/2. Now the perpendicular slope, the two lines slanted means parallel, the upside down capital T means perpendicular, M means slope. What we're going to do is we're going to change the sign from negative to positive, and we're going to take this 1/2 and we're going to flip it upside down to get 2/1. But we don't write this as a positive 2/1, we just write it as the number 2. That's all we do. Now, at this point, we know my slopes of the lines I want to need to find, but I also need to know the y-intercept. I need to know the b. So let's do parallel first. We're going to use the equation y equals mx plus b. Now what's nice is I already know m. M is right here. I gave you a point that has an x value and a y value. Hey, this equation has an x and a y. So if I have a y, an m, and an x, I could solve for b, which is my intercept. So I'm just going to plug everything in. My y is 1, so this y becomes 1 equals my m is a negative 1/2. That's a negative 1/2. And let's see, my x is 4. And then plus b. All I have to do is solve this for b, and now I have my b. So I have 1 equals, well, a half of 4 is 2, and it's a negative, so that's negative 2 plus b. We're going to add 2 to both sides, and we've got b equals 3. So now I'm ready to write my equation for a parallel line. The equation for a parallel line, we're just going to use the same form. Y equals mx plus b. We're going to leave our y and our x there, but we're going to plug in what we know about the m and the b. So we're going to get y equals, my m is the negative 1/2, that's the one I used, x plus my b, which is 3. And there's my parallel line equation. Now for perpendicular, we do the exact same thing, except now we use our perpendicular slope of 2. So we're going to use the 1 from my y, because we're using y equals mx plus b. So we're using my 1 from my y. We're using my x. Well, let's use our slope first. Here's my slope, my m. My x is 4 plus b. Solve for b. We get 1 equals 8 plus b. Subtract 8, we got negative 7 equals b. All right. Now we're ready to write my perpendicular equation. My perpendicular equation is going to be y equals, I want to use my perpendicular slope, which is 2. X. My equations always have this y and the x. Now I could write a plus a negative 7, but we never write it that way. We just write minus 7 because this is a negative 7. And that's how you find your parallel and perpendicular lines. Every equation is like this. You follow the same process. Every one of these questions are like this. That help you, Graydon? Hopefully that helped you, Graydon. Hopefully. Like I said, I've also got, you can practice one and you can go check it on, I've got now on the live stream this week, I've done 1, 2, 4, 7, and 9. Just go back into and look at the descriptions of the live video chats and you'll see the time on there. You can click on those and you can see those problems worked out as well. Hopefully that helped you. Good night. Any more questions, guys? I wonder if the pool halls are opening tomorrow. Have something to do tomorrow instead of just playing video games. Just gonna say it again. Next Thursday will be my last live stream for any type of math tutorial help. Other than that, if you're my student, you can contact me on Schoology, and I'll try to help you through email. For a large part, shouldn't even do it next week due to lack of interest. Nobody's even been on here asking questions. Wasting my time. What do you want, Coda? Questions. If not, I'm getting off. Okay. All right, guys. Seeing how nobody's asking questions, I'm going to go ahead and end the live stream. I will be back up. Let's see. Today's Thursday. Tomorrow at 5 o'clock. If you have any questions then, just ask then. If not, well, then, just not. I will see you tomorrow at 5 o'clock.